Hawaii. I just got back. I spent the past 2 weeks between California and Arizona. I was 3 days, well, really 4 days at the UFO convention called UFO Con Experiences Conference. And then we drove down to Arizona to be with my friend, who has the most incredible story going on, not in a good way, but we'll get into it. I want to say to everybody out there, thank you so much. I put a site up called GoFundMe about my mission, and I got all the money I needed from my plane ticket. Thank you, everybody that did and helped and supported and got me out there. Please email me or text me, whatever. I will keep you up to par what's happening with the story and what's going on, because I feel I need to get back out there. I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but it seems like I left the place and it's now in a lot worse than when I went. So I really feel I have to go back out there. The person I'm dealing with is getting attacked every which way, and not by government, I would say aliens per se. Well, we'll go into that. I just want to go into a few things, what happened for me on the journey. Starting, I left my house on a Thursday night. I got into California. I was stuck at in the hotel lobby for a whole day waiting for somebody to meet me there and everything. But then started meeting a few people from the conference, UFO Con Experiences Conference. Don't ask me why they put those CON in there, which makes it sound like a con job. Again, the word experiences is a good word for people that want to believe it was a good experience, even though most abductions are not a good experience. It's a program. I do multiple shows on that, and I will keep that because I'm trying to figure out a way to help people understand what's really happening at certain levels. And please don't get me wrong. I'm not everybody says I'm the doom and gloom guy, which sounds like it to most people, because I talk about what's happening, and what's happening is not love and light. It's not great spiritual balls of love coming into this world and people becoming compassionate and wars stopping and all those kind of things that would make it a real turn. But for me, I was at this conference, multiple speakers. I listened to some of them, not all of them, but I did get to talk to the speakers one-to-one, and I will be bringing 2 of them on my show in the next week or 2, because they have a really important story which the world needs to hear and understand, that the UFO world is not the most pleasurable place to be. It's not like you get a lot of compassionate people following you. You don't make lots of money doing it. It's not kind of a place where you get a lot of respect. In turn, you get disrespected. You get attacked at every level. People trying to say they don't believe your stuff. People trying to say you're not real, you're not honest, you're making believe, or you're a liar, you're crazy, and all those other words that fit into the picture when you mention the word alien. And all I can say, I can only talk from what I directly experienced, the people around me, the people I work with, and what I got from that. And I don't promote other people's stories because I don't feel it's my place to do that. When I talk about my past lives, it's my past life. Whether people want to accept that or not, that's their choice. When I have an experience, it's what I directly had, not in the dream. I'm not talking about dreams right now at all. I used to do some dream classes and stuff like that, but to me, right now, it's not the important thing for the past couple of years for me. So I want to get back into this trip. So I met a lot of nice people, interesting people. And during that time frame, I learned more about what's happening in the UFO world with the word experiences, a word that people like because it takes the word abduction out of the picture and puts a pretty picture in place of it. So when a person says they're an experiencer, what it means is it was a good experience. An experiencer usually doesn't talk about a bad experience, because then they would twist the word and make it an abduction. So these people have a couple of things different than what you would call the basic abduction. Most abductions start off with lost time. It could be any reason, anywhere, anytime, any place. But they come back with no awareness of anything happening. So for most people, that have lost time have no clue what happened during that time, or usually aren't even aware of the lost time. By the same token, if it's happening during the night and they're dreaming, they have no clue and they have no way to find out about it. So it's a complicated situation. Most people are not aware if they have lost time unless they're sitting in their car and they're getting ready to go to the store, and suddenly it's the following morning and they're still sitting in the car waiting to go to the store. Or they wake up or they open their eyes and they see they're somewhere else and they don't even know where that is. And that happens to many abductees. On the word experiences, it's people that are in their room and they kind of look and there's an alien or a being standing in front of them telling them some good things. And they call that being an experience and being with an alien or a being. Not that anything they come back with or say or try to prove is real. They have no evidence. 99.9%, there's not one shred of proof of what they're saying. So it's a story based on a vision, whether the vision was real or not. And I'll say this, I'm part Native, and the Native teachings through history, the visions and all those things that manifested have no truth to it. I got to travel across the United States. I dealt with multiple elders and medicine people, listened to the stories of the past. Not one vision was beneficial to the Native people. Even in Tibet, the Dalai Lama was given a vision by one of the people that are visionaries, and he left Tibet and he was saved. So the Native people were not saved. Their visions brought them to death. I'm not saying death isn't the best way to leave this planet, because you're going to die no matter how you look at it. Just on a time frame, how much time you really want to spend here and what you think you're going to learn in that time frame. So getting back to the point, we're here and now, and the truth is, what is the truth? People talk about their truth. What is it? And when I ask people, what is your truth, they cannot answer. I tell you mine any given second, but when I ask other people, well, my truth's my truth. And I said, does it help people? Does it help the world? Or is it just helping you? And is it really helping you? So again, that truth is limited to an awareness that's limited to the body. And until you experience outside of that, it all is useless, even though you feel it's so important. So on this trip, I got to talk to a person that deals with angels. It was fun, and because I listened to her lecture, didn't agree with anything, so I met with her after, and she actually gave up 2 hours of her channeling because she works with people, and we talked, and she said, I believe everything you say. So I got her to look at a deeper version of what she's saying and deeper into the truth. I mean, it's easy to say angels are helping us and God's watching over us and all these things, but what is that really? What does it entail? What's it going to bring to the world? What's it really doing for the world? What's it really doing for the human race? Now throw in alien races. Why do you think they are here? To make us understand God? To help us understand life? To understand anything important? How about like what we're going to eat and how we're going to get somewhere in the distance, or the things that Tesla was given, what Einstein's theories brought out, the whole Montauk Project, the Philadelphia experiment, all those things. Are they helping us spiritually? I challenge everybody out there right now, what spiritual means to you. Do you have a clue? Do you know what spiritual means? And what does it mean? Write it down on a piece of paper and look at it and say, this is what spiritual means, and write it down and look at what you think it means. Email me. Please do. Tell me what your truth is about that word. I'd love to hear it. I mean, multiple people are saying they're spiritual, very spiritual. And based on what? What's spiritual mean? Connection to what and who and how? And what does it do? Psychic abilities, all of them, all 32 of them, come from the astral plane. Remote viewing, telepathy, levitation, deja vu, all those words are just limited to the astral body and the physical body. They can't take you into any worlds higher than that. So to me, that's not spiritual. If you can't get past the astral plane, you're not stepping on a spiritual planet or a plane or a place of existence. You're living in a duality of the physical and the astral plane, which are very close now because of the Montauk Project, which I'm not going to get into, especially right now. So where are we going with this? A friend of mine out in Arizona has a ranch, and he's in trouble. And it's called the Stardust Ranch. And I'm trying to bring help to help him save the ranch, or at least save his horses. He's got 18 horses that need help as far as food. He's kind of in a situation where he needs to raise and get the money to buy the ranch, to keep the ranch before he loses it and before he loses everything. Compounded, he's being abducted and attacked every so often, more so at least once a month, and in the past couple of weeks, a couple times in 1 week. And sadly, it was the day after I left, and I said, I wish I was there, because that things would have been different. He feels he has to do it in his way, which I'm not blaming him. He has no other way to defend himself other than to attack the attacker, which is called defense, but actually killing a gray. So people say, well, why did he kill a gray? Well, why do we kill people in other countries? And we're people living on the same planet. Here's a being that's coming down, abducting him and his wife, abusing them and putting all kinds of marks on their bodies and everything else, their animals, and he kills one. I'm not for killing. I wouldn't do it, but he had to for his defense. And in a situation when it's you or your child or your wife or your husband, whatever it is, you do think a little bit different, because it's always the survival mode that comes into the consciousness, not the spiritual awareness of what and who you are. And very few people can go to that space when something dramatic's happening. So over the past 2 weeks, I had an incredible experience of taking a ride from this UFO conference down to Arizona, which was such a long ride. It was 20 hours. It should have been a 12-hour ride max. But we finally did get there a day later. But to me, I wanted to spend 10 days with my friend John. I got to spend 5 days, really 4.5 days. So it was not exactly the way I wanted to go down. I mean, I went to a UFO conference for one reason, and that was probably the most important reason why I did go to a UFO conference, was to meet with this medicine person that I met with, who I feel really truly, honestly connected to. And I thought it would be an important thing, which it was. But the whole UFO conference, I could have did without it. So along the way, as we came into this reality, driving from from Sacramento down to Arizona, it was a 20-hour trip, which seemed like 2 days, multiplied by hours and hours of sitting in a car in a stationary mode, waiting to go somewhere else. So it was a horrible trip from there to there. But when I got to my friend's house, it was great to see him, because I never met him personally, and introduce him to my friends that came with us. So at that point, things changed. The second we stepped on the ranch, his friends, not his real friends, entities that are around him, realized we were there. Some of them wanted to play, some of them wanted to make themselves known, and many did not. So a lot of them had to hide. I got to be alone at nighttime outside, challenging these beings and stuff. All they could do is throw these big giant balls at the planet, meaning the land around us where I was, which I want to just get into real fast, because I've been involved. I'm just trying to finish a book just for out there for people that need to find a way to look at UFOs and see them. It's going to be how to see a UFO. But what I want to get into about that is what are UFOs and what are meteorites, comets, and things like that. How do you tell the difference? Well, it's not too hard in general to tell the difference, because they all travel, move differently, look differently in most cases. I just want to say, anybody out there that's going to hear the show, please call me or Skype me. My number is 818-570-6200. You can call in. Call me anytime on Skype if I'm on it. My email address is hawksblood1@aol.com, or our Skype name is Hawksblood11. Any which way you want to get in touch with me, please do. I reply to anybody I get, good, bad, or indifferent, until I figure out if they're bad. Then I just disconnect that. But again, I listen and I try to answer any questions that are thrown at me pertaining to what I know. I can only talk about what I know, which is pertaining anything about witchcraft, magic, psychic abilities, to aliens, UFOs, government involvement with that. Never mind my experiences of soul travel, astral travel, and leaving the body in death. So yeah, I was worked in hypnosis for half of my life as well. So I work with abductees as far as psychic implant removals, and working with people that have problems with their abductions and finding out what really happened. So getting back to this thing about meteorites and comets, what are they? What's the difference? Well, basically, they're objects that are traveling through space. Meteorites, I'll start with, cannot change its course. When it's traveling through space, it moves in one direction, one speed. It can be fast, it can be a little bit slower. It's made up of rocks. Comets are ice and rock and have tails. The reason why they have tails, when it gets closer to the sun, it starts melting and it leaves the trails of the melting ice that's there. As far as the traveling through space, they look similar. But basically people say if it has a tail, it's a comet. They're not known to contain radiation or radiational material. How did they base that on what crashed into the planet? The story of, I'll spell the word because I can't even think of how to say it. Let me find where it is. Tungus, Tunguska, is still an unknown story about an explosion that happened. It was the size of a football field, whatever it was. People said they did see it come down as a meteorite or a comet. It was in Siberia. The evidence is still not known. There's no facts about what it really was. They said it was equal to a 40 megaton explosion, witnessed by many. So there was radiation left after the explosion. Now it's classified by some people as an interplanetary spacecraft, nuclear space engine craft that blew up. Proving it or not is another story. Comets can turn into asteroids. So we have multiple facts on these things. Why I'm saying that, because when we go out to look at the stars or the sky at nighttime, you're going to see multiple things traveling across the sky. Many are satellites. Satellites move very slowly. I mean, you can watch it go across the sky in about 10-15 minutes, or maybe a little bit faster, depending. Some of them are a little bit faster speeds. They don't move direction. They travel one speed, one direction, have one set of like brightness that you'll see. It doesn't go super ball light and then shrink to nothing and things like that. So now they're saying an asteroid is a rocky ball left over from the creating of the inner world's debris. How do they know that? How can they prove that? Science can't prove anything they say, not in a real way, and everything they say will be disproven within a short period of time, meaning 25 to 50 years. And that's a short term compared to the reality of the planet Earth. Comets are dirty ice balls coming from the outer realms of our galaxies at about 72 kilometers per second. The Mayans feared them. They thought they were warning signs, which maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Later said to be carriers of the truth. History changes, stories keep changing, and mankind keeps trying to make it better, no matter what the story is. An asteroid can be the size of a particle, a dust particle, to miles long. A meteor crater in Arizona, 60 meters, made of iron, it created a crater a mile in diameter 300,000 years ago. The Yucatan Peninsula, a comet wiped out many things like it supposedly did the dinosaurs. And there were humans there as well, whether they want to admit that or not. 60 million years ago. So, why I'm saying this is because I'm trying to get you to think, when I say I see something crash into the planet, it was a white ball of light, one was an orange ball of light. What is it? What just came down? I don't know. I'm not a I didn't grab it. I didn't touch it, so I can't say what it felt like. I can only say what it looked like. From my real eyes, I wasn't using any kind of night vision glasses. I wasn't using a binocular telescope, and it was only about 50 to 100 feet from me. So what were they? I have no clue, but I'm sure the aliens that were playing games with me were playing that as well. Because within an hour, I saw a giant tubular ship, not too far above my head, which was probably 100 times bigger than any plane. Right below the planes, where we were, my friend's ranch is right in a runway area where all the planes fly in and out of. So it's hard to see things because you got all these blinking lights all the time, most of it between, I'd say, 6 and 11 o'clock at night. And then it tapers off, and then in the morning is the best time to look before sunrise, because most planes aren't flying then unless they're going across country or across long distances. So when you're trying to see a UFO, when you look in the sky and you see blinking lights, 90% of the time you could just say right off the top, it's a plane. UFOs usually don't have a blinker on it, even though I did see a couple UFOs that did. But they had lights going around them as well, and a lot of different characteristics that make it so different to say, oh, it wasn't an airplane. And I'm talking years and years ago, so we didn't even have drones. And one of them followed me for about an hour and a half. So again, you'll learn what things are by how long you can see them, by the movement and the pattern that they take. Then what makes it more complicated, what gets out of it? And how's the ship land? What to do? How's it drop these beings off? How did they get here? Why did they go back there? There's so many different aspects to that. There's interdimensional beings. And then there's aliens, which drive around in ships. And I call the interdimensional beings ETs because they're interdimensional. They go to dimensions. They don't have to travel on a ship. But where are they coming from? And why are they coming here? To help mankind. Everybody says, oh, they're here to save the world, help the world. To do what? Each soul that's here is only here for one reason. To find out who and what they are connected to God, where it came from. Nothing else. Not about how many cats and dogs you can have, how many houses you can build, how many cars you can get, how many mountains you can climb, how many planes you can jump out of, or how many children you can have. It's not about that, even though we want to believe that's what it's all about. All right, the Bible has nothing to do with it. Not at all. I'm not saying the Bible's all lies, which most of it is, based on my direct personal experience being alive with Jesus and all the things before and after that. But that's my truth. I'm not expecting you to believe or accept anything about that. But when people challenge me and say Jesus was an alien and they were on a ship with them last night, I said that's the greatest fantasy delusional idea that you can create in your own mind, or it's a program somebody actually stuck in there. All right, I'm not going to get into that. I want to get into a lot more other things as far as John's ranch, where I was. What was going on there? We had one person with multiple pieces of expensive equipment. He couldn't get it all to work in the time frame that we needed it to. He had night vision cameras and infrared stuff. But I was with him directly, and he took out his infrared night vision glasses and put it on, and we're looking through that. And he's trying to get his camera to work, which he couldn't. I mean, he played with it for an hour trying to get it to work. And we're both looking through the infrared, the night vision glasses. This ET head popped right in the screen looking at us. It wasn't physically there because I moved my head away from the camera to see if it was in front of us, which it wasn't. So how real was that? What was it? Basically, it could have been anything. Could have been a hologram. That, I would say, could be a hologram, but based on what principle, for what reason, and who did it. I didn't get close to too many aliens directly in the physical world while I was there. I did see multiple ships every night, up to 12 and 14 one night, and these giant orbs crashing into the planet right next to me. It was an interesting trip, to say the least. The one person that was with us shot a whole bunch of incredible stuff as well, which we hopefully will get out there so people can see it. I'm in this for one reason, to help my friend John. I didn't decide to go to the ranch to make money. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with fame. But I do want to try to help John save his ranch and help him stop being abducted. If you were abducted for 20 years, which he was, it kind of gets boring. kind of gets sick, kind of starts taking away your belief in anything. And right now, he's kind of in the lowest state he probably has ever been in, because there's a chance he's losing a ranch. The aliens are still playing with him and his animals, including his wife. I mean, I'm going to go into that story real quick in a little bit. Sorry. I'm in Hawaii, and it's pretty peaceful right now. I get to go outside and look for alien ships and everything whenever I can. Over the past 3 months, I've been dealing with my own things as well. I'm talking about ships that are making contact with me at so many different levels, but not making the physical contact, which is what I'm trying to get to happen. But while I was at John's ranch, they did blink at me twice, and that's all I did see of them, and that was it. But the other ships that were cruising over back and forth and around the house is a totally different story. Now, there's a vortex and a stargate on the property. I slept in the room with the vortex to see if anything would come out. Obviously, they didn't. No alien, and I'm going to just tell this to the world if you're listening. If you're spiritual, if you know what it means, what does it connect to? If you know what that is, you are protected. That's simple. If you're coming from the highest level, nothing lower than that can hurt you, except in the physical reality. In the physical reality, somebody could pull out a gun or anything and attack you and hurt you and all that. And the story, well, the angels protect me. No, well, it's karma. It's what you have to deal with. It's to help you wake up, to see things. If you're injured and hurt, it's because you had that karma to deal with in the first place. I don't give credit to aliens for bringing out anything important to us, because they haven't. And as far as right now, they're deceiving most of the people that believe the stories that they hear when they're working with them. I sat down and listened to these people talking about their experiences with aliens, or interdimensional beings. Just so you know, aliens can transfer through dimensions, meaning a door, or from a ship to the ground, in a dimensional form, and then they have to take their physical form back. They can't stay in that form. They're just the same as any human could do that many years ago, especially in Atlantis. We lost the abilities because mankind has abused it so much. Spirit said you can't use them no more. But they can't stay that form, where an interdimensional being doesn't have to take a physical form ever, and they don't have to stay in that form. So that's a big difference between the two entities and what people are dealing with. John's dealing with both. Sadly to say, he's got both. He's got entities as well. Entities meaning things like the word that you would relate to more so as demons, which also affect his property. I was there, and it was kind of at a place where he said, well, we can't get rid of everything. I mean, he wanted to try to get pictures to prove his point and prove what's happening. So I didn't do a complete cleansing of the property, which now I feel sorry that I didn't. But by the same token, his case and what his story is all about, we need a little more facts to help him prove that. I mean, not to the point where everybody on the planet is going to accept it, but just a few more people to listen. We have Stephen Greer coming out with his 6-inch little pencil alien, and trying to make it the biggest story on the planet, which it wasn't. Had nothing to do with anything important. If you don't know where it comes from or why it's here, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. So it just gets more complex as I get into it. And what's happening to John is scary for him and his wife and all the animals around him. If people think it's not real, I ask people, donate a little money, come out and stay on the farm for a week if you can, if you're willing and want to see and experience something. And I can't even guarantee your protection, because you give up all your rights when you step onto an ET vortex or a Stargate. And that proves to yourself how spiritual you are, how connected you are to what. And then what comes to you while you're there is also your ability, your level of spiritual awareness, what your mind's ready to accept and work with. Not that disbelievers come there and get scared away, which happens. If you're a disbeliever and have no real understanding, you are in trouble if you go to a place like this, because you're an open target, and then you won't be able to understand the experience when it comes through. So again, anybody wants to come out to the ranch, wants to donate, become part of this at any level, or come out there with equipment and film anything, please do. It's an active place. I don't know how long it's going to be allowed for us to be on the property. Never mind, John's going to stay there. He wants to get off of it. Like I said, 20 years of being abducted. The only solution that he has left is he thinks he can leave the property. Not that the aliens won't follow him, but if he leaves the property, he won't be in an active Stargate, which is a very serious one. Yeah, there's 12 giant Stargates on the planet, period. There's ultimate little ones and things like that, but I'm talking about Stargates that interconnect the astral and the physical world together, allowing all the ships to come through. They were all opened after the Montauk Project happened, which was a serious thing for mankind because it allowed every entity and creature and every weird thing to come into this reality, which mankind's only going to start experiencing. I mean, if you read the Bible and it talks about what's coming and all that, you'll see what there were signs of that. There's some truth to some of the few things in the Bible that relate to what's really happening. So getting back to my camera, I filmed a couple things when I stayed in a room. I was the first person in the United States, my friend and me, to go public saying we were going to film orbs wherever we go, period. And it was 96. We were in New York City in front of 400 people. My friend was lecturing, and I shot 25 pictures. Every picture had orbs on them, and we showed it at the end of the workshop. But we started traveling, talking about aliens, UFOs. I talked about spiritualism, but we did teach people how to film orbs. I mean, it's not complicated, and it's not like it's a moisture in the air and all the stories that people put out there, what they are. When you get a ball that's a quarter the size of the picture you're taking, or right over the person's glasses, you can see the orb half under the glass and half over it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to say, well, it's real, or it's just a raindrop, or dew, or moisture, or the camera. Again, that's a whole different subject, but why I was saying it, because in this room, every picture I shot had multiple orbs on it. Not that there were any of the spirits that were in that room or beings were trying to communicate with me. I have a protection, and very few things will come through it, or can, which I mean, I'm glad about in a lot of ways, but when you try to talk to low-life alien forms, they can't, and Spirit won't allow me to do that. Just for my own protection, not theirs, that's obvious. So again, why am I going through all this? Because the world needs to wake up to what's really happening. I can tell you, I work with abductees most of my life. I work with seeing ships, being next to an alien, being next to a Bigfoot, all those things. They're all real, all dangerous. Oh, the good ones. Let's talk about the good ones real fast. What are the good ones doing? Helping saving man to do what? What do you think man needs to learn to do? How about not kill each other? How about not abuse each other? How about not lying to each other or hurting each other? No alien's going to teach us that. Why not? They could. I mean, if you watch the original movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, he gave the Earth a warning. Planet Earth, you got this warning. If you don't heed it, you'll be destroyed, period. And he proved he could. It's that simple if they wanted to do that. If they want to help the human race, how could they sit there and listen to me, everybody out there listening, if you're dealing with all these great aliens and good aliens and spiritual beings and everything else, how could they sit there and watch one child be sexually raped, abused, killed, put out as a prostitute, or any of those words? How can any being stand there and watch it and saying, we're waiting to help you? Again, help us do what? When do you help? And here's a simple scenario I use. You have a child, you come to the corner of your block, the street light just changes red. Your little child's walking out in the street. Do you let him run out into the street and get hit by a car to say, hey, look, you're supposed to look at the light before you cross the street, or do you stop him from getting hit? Well, if you have compassion, you have love, you stop the child before doing it. If you're a mean, ignorant fool, you say, well, go out, get hit by a car. You'll learn not to do it if you live through it. So again, any alien race that's sitting back thinking they can wait for something different to happen, we are becoming more abusive, more destructive every single day. The planet Earth is suffering because of that. And if you don't realize that, look out the world. Oh, there's a few good things happening. Look at the numbers of children dying on a daily basis. Look at about the number of drunk drivers running people over. And they're trying to take marijuana away from people. but they feed them alcohol that makes them, any person, usually an angry, frustrated, negative person. I don't know too many people that drink and become a really compassionate, loving being and aware. So the concept of what we're creating is horrible. And if you think aliens are helping us, in what way? Saving who? Who do you think needs to be saved on this planet? I'm half Native, and I'm not even going to say Native people deserve to be saved. No, they don't. Nobody deserves anything unless they deserve it. And how do you get to deserving to be saved from whatever is going to happen? You can't. There is no reason to. To bring a religious scenario into the picture, Moses took his people, marched them around in circles for how many? 4 generations. Do you realize 4 generations means the children that were born on that journey made it to what they called the promised land? The ones that left died on the journey getting there. It wasn't that long of a trip to get to where he left from to where he was going to. All right. I understand what I'm trying to say. The promised land was where? Not a physical place. People assume that it was where they actually attained the physical reality and came upon people. What did this race of beings do when they got there? They killed everybody that was there. And that's what you call Christianity. Again, how do you form the word spiritual when everything aspect of what mankind does is just the opposite? Even Moses, when he came off the mountain, killed 3,000 people. Why? Because he said they're demons. Justifying killing something for whatever reason you feel like it. So if you think an alien race has to come here and say we're all spiritual beings and they can't kill us, they can do whatever they want. The same as why would they help us, and what are they going to help us do? What can any spiritual person on planet Earth heal us? To heal us of a sickness? Why do you think God created sickness? For each soul to wake up and understand what they create in their own reality. So, where's this going? To what aliens can do for us? What do you think they can do? Give us technology? That's all they can. That's all they are doing. That's all they were doing. To save a race of people. What race would we save? The black race, the red race, the yellow race? Why? Are they better? Are they more spiritual? Being connected to planet Earth is what we all are, whether we realize it or not. What we do that is our choice. The native people, if they weren't killed and slaughtered, meaning there was 50 million native people here 400 years ago, there's less than 750,000, even though they're saying, because this is Native American month, that is what? 5,700,000. It's a lie. To me, native people are people that live on a reservation, not people that accept the reality of the white man's race. Sounds prejudiced. No, it's reality. Because white man, all through history, were the killing race. Not the red race, not the black race, not the Chinese. Go back in history. The people that were killing, brought killing to reality, were the white race. And that's multiple countries. So when we talk about what spiritual race, living in touch with planet Earth, believing planet Earth is important, it's one speck of dust in this giant galactic multi-universe pertaining to billions of generations of different kind of spiritual beings, entities, and creatures, and whatever you want to call them. So what is your importance on planet Earth? To save planet Earth from what? Destruction? Why? What does it matter? To who? To one race that comes here for food? I've been there and done it, been around the people that say this, that, and the other thing. Sadly to say, we're in trouble. We're in real trouble. Saving the human race. I hear it. That's all I hear. Why? Sickness is what makes people wake up and realize that their body's not as important as they think it is. When you get cancer and it's terminal and your heart is destroyed, your lungs or whatever part of your body is going, it's not you take this magical herb and you're healed and you suddenly walk. And if that happens, what do you think is happening? It's going to give you a second chance to think about why you're here, what you're doing, and where you're going to go when you die. Jesus taught about death, not about life, and people don't even understand that. Where you go, what are you really? If I chop your head off, what are you? You're still there. Your body's not. But what are you in that space? What are you aware of? Nothing, because you didn't learn how to become aware of that. And you think alien races are teaching mankind how to do this? I'm talking about generalization, sorry. There are individual beings, individual people deserving of both. But it's not common. And I challenge somebody to name one spiritual person on this planet right now. Just one. One spiritual being who lives on planet Earth. The Dalai Lama? Eckhart Tolle? Deepak Chopra? Oprah? Who would you call a spiritual person on planet Earth? Trump? Putin? Name one, please. I have been around what everybody claims, people that say they're spiritual or they're spiritual hierarchy, whatever. There's teachings that come out of it that are important, and that's only a limited. Out of 2,000 religions, there's only 2 that I know that are important to the human race. And it's not Christianity, it's not Muslims, not Buddhism. So again, where are we going? What do you want to believe? Do you think Native people are going to save us? From what? What are they going to teach us? How to go back to farming? You think we're not way past farming? They already created synthetic meat, which we're supposed to have next year. It's organic. It has a lot more vitamins and minerals than killing a cow does. And we don't have to kill a cow to get it. So is that bad or good? Depends how you look at it. Well, I want to farm a cow and then slaughter it. Or I want to kill a buffalo and then eat its heart. I mean, it sounds gross, which it is. Killing is not justified under any reason. We justify it by many reasons and any reality in the way we live life. I'm sorry, I'm a realist. I tell it like it is. I tell it by what I experienced and what I saw as truth. Not that you have to agree with it. All I'm trying to get you is to look deeper in what you think is true. And what do you think is going to help mankind? Oh, be yourself. What is that? Perverted, twisted thinking? Thinking boxing is a good thing to watch? Pay for it? Go to a football game and take your family and spend $1,000 to see a game? While children are starving? That boxing match that brought $180 million to each boxer? You think that's where all our money should have went? Imagine what that money could have did for poor, starving children. So where's people's attention when they say they're loving, compassionate, spiritual beings? Who are they helping? What do they really expect to happen? My life's dedicated to bringing out the truth. If I died right this second, it would be okay. Because I'm doing what I have to do. I'm trying to wake up people that are ready to listen to anything close to the truth. And again, you're going to have to find it. I can only give you a way to look for it. I can't give it to you. Neither can any alien race. Technology is nothing compared to spiritual truth. It has nothing to do with the other. Every bit of technology only brings us further away from what we are, not closer to it. The more we travel through space, the more we realize we're running from who we are. So in reality, what are we here for? What are we doing? Nothing spiritual. Please prove me wrong at any level. Oh, good things are happening. Yeah, I mean, a child could be stuck in a sewer, and they spend 3 days, the fire department's there, the police department's there, trying to get this child out. During that day, they gave the order to drop a bomb on a city and destroy the whole city. So you call that reasoning and spiritual? Moses coming across the promised land and letting them kill everybody that was there when they got there? He couldn't get there, and very few people know why. Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. They don't know why. If you read the Bible, in the Bible it says 2 things you cannot be forgiven for. And I'm not even going to tell you what they are. Just read the Bible. Oh, no, it's all make-believe. Well, there's things that pertain to truth. Because man hears truth and they write it, but they don't understand it. They didn't understand a single word Jesus said. Never mind these other beings that tried to bring some truth into this reality. Quetzalcoatl, his truth was limited. The truth that comes from beings and deities. Go back to Shiva. I worked with Shiva for a long time, years. I learned a lot. I learned a real lot about creation and killing of reality and realities of universes and everything else. But it's all ego. When any deity thinks they're better or have anything better than anybody else, they're already in a different place than being in a true spiritual place. We're here to help each other, period, no matter what it entails. Being willing And I mean, Jesus even said, give your life for spirit and for God, you'll have eternal life. Why? Because if you give yourself to the truth, you only die in that. You don't die in a lie. When you die in a lie, you'll reincarnate over and over, and you'll never get a chance to see it for a long time. So you can take your choice. You want to follow aliens when they come here? Or you want to fight that and find the truth within? We all have that option to do that. I got to speak with a really nice woman about angels and her truth about it. And she had a great understanding of angels and spirits and things like that. But it only pertained up into the astral plane. Because when you go past that, you let go of all this junk. It doesn't come with you. You don't worry about these things anymore, saving mankind. Can't save man from himself unless he wants to save himself. It's the old story, well, do we want what we say we want? World peace. What would that mean? World love, world compassion. Would you be able to go out and shoot a deer because you don't like it's looking in your window? You cut an animal apart because you're hungry, or you eat your child because you're starving to death? I mean, how far does it go? How far are you willing to look and see how bad, I wouldn't even say a word, but we abuse ourselves so much and created a reality that we accept as real and important. What's important on this planet to God? Think about it. What do you do that's important? Well, I picked somebody that fell down, and you expect to get doobie points or whatever you want to call it, stars, because you picked somebody up that fell down? What's real? What's important? Why do you think God put you here? That's what life is about. That's how life ends. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you understand life and death, as well as rebirth of soul. Not like the Christian belief or the born-again Christians, oh, reborn again. Reborn just means forgetting your truth, forgetting all the lies that you created, and pretending that they didn't happen. You can't escape karma, no matter who you work with, what you follow, what you believe in. You create something, you're responsible for it, good, bad, or indifferent. So where do you choose to reside? With aliens? With demons? With people? Your choice. People are ignorant. And by talking to them, you understand. Why is it when you get in a conversation, they say, well, don't talk about religion. Don't talk about politics. Politics is a little more spoken, but religion people are afraid to get into. Because most people are afraid to put their truth on the line. Whatever that is. Whatever they believe in. Which is what? An object? A figure of imagination? An idea? And I could attack everything, which I do in my own way, because it's lies. Go through history of any tribe, through history. What were their teachings? Imaginary twisted stories of make-believe things that never happened. Why is that? You think becoming a medicine person, a shaman, or a wisdom person, whatever words you want to create the image that you're a better person or more spiritual, what are you bringing to the world? What are you going to tell the people that are out there with their child starving? I send you love and light? Does that help their child eat? Does it really? When a storm comes in and starts tearing apart a city, oh, I send them love and light. So? Did it stop the tornado from ripping their house off the ground? What do we expect from the words healers? Take away our sickness. Again, why do you think you got the sickness? If you take it away, it's only going to come back. Karma creates what you go through because you need to learn something. If you don't learn what that is, it doesn't leave. And you'll reincarnate over and over to prove that to yourself sooner or later, usually much later in life, like 10 times, 100 times of reincarnating. And maybe you'll wake up and say, hey, it's time to look a little bit deeper inside myself to see what's going on. And not expecting anybody else out there to take away anything that you created. You're living here because you have to right now. You didn't have to stay here as long as you did, but you choose to. In your own way. You got karma, you have to come back. That's choosing to stay here. You don't create karma, you can leave. It's that simple. How do you live life without creating karma? It's hard. Especially if you fall into the programs that everybody tells you to believe in. If your government tells you to go to another country and kill somebody over there, what justifies killing? Your president telling you that? Do you believe that? Do you accept that? Christians do. Muslims are out there trying to kill other people because it's their truth. So what do they know? Nothing. Nothing about the higher God the higher spirits, the higher energy, the higher truth. To bring it into this reality, saying we're going to make the world better, never happened. That's not what planet Earth is about. Why do you think aliens are reincarnating into humans now? Why different races and entities are reincarnating into human beings now? Because they need to experience the little bit of compassion that they can get, which most of them don't have. So I'm sorry I didn't go the way I wanted to, but I have to allow spirit to flow through me when I talk and talk about what's real. Always. Can't lie, can't hide, can't deceive people. Can't tell them stories that aren't going to make a reality happen that's not going to happen. I could be the most richest person on the planet if I was a liar. If I was a storyteller, I could be a rich person as well. But I'm not. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I'm not a thief. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not a killer. I'm not a murderer, rapist. So what am I? A realist is the word I use. I live by my truth. And my truth is I want to go closer and closer to God every breath I take. Period. Nothing else is important. Nothing. Every other thing is an abstract of truth that separates me from the ultimate truth that I'm searching for. Relationships, children, beliefs, that a job, a better job, all those things are going to be better. For what? To keep your mind programmed that planet Earth is important. To who? To the race that brought us here, obviously. Why do they want us here? Why do you think they let people die? Why do you think they eat people? Why do you think, if you know anything about Phil Snyder's and what happened in that base they went into when they killed all those Greys, why they killed them? I'll tell you if you want to hear it, but I'm sure you don't want to hear that. Oh, well, basically, there was many thousands and thousands of skeletons of humans, which they were eating. They don't eat us like we eat people or things, because they only drink fluids and they have to turn a person into liquid to drink it. But again, they had to kill those races. They knew that they were double timing the government. So yeah, you want the truth? It's out there. You could look for it, find it. Not that too many people have it or will tell you it. The whistleblowers coming out with little pieces of things. How much does it pertain to what's really happening? Very little. Because if you look at what's going down right now, you'll see we are in the worst space that the planet Earth has ever been in. Not the best space, not the most spiritual. Planet Earth was never in a spiritual place except in Atlantis. For a long time, in Atlantis time, but that was taken away by alien races as well. So the deceiving and the twisting between the beings that are out there, and I'll say there's 5 different Greys on planet Earth. Then you got the Nordics, which is another alien race, which is not a friendly race. They pretend to be, they look friendly, they look spiritual. Then you got the Mantis, which control all of them. And they're here telling us that they're good too as well. We got multiple races brainwashing us, programming us to believe anything's important. Everything you see, hear, and talk about on planet Earth is useless in God's world, or what I should say, the higher realms. When you get past the astral plane, all this gibber, all the things we do and play with are gone. None of it's there. None of it needs to be there. But we perceive this as truth, as real, as important. The same as we feel our life is important. It's not important until you realize who you are and what you are as soul. Otherwise, you're just another piece of food for some race in some distant time frame. Or going back to the dearth of the planet, become part of the earth again. However you want to look at it. But it doesn't pertain about going into a higher level. Jesus talked about the many realms in God's world, and this is only one of them, the lowest level. So what do you want to say? In the lowest level? Come back and be with your family over and over again? Or be in heaven and sitting down with your family and sitting there for infinity? Is that your idea of heaven? Most people it is, sadly to say. They're not ready to look beyond that. Why alien races are really here? What are they doing? Why do you think they would harass somebody, or why do you think they would help somebody? Well, I'm going to help, I'm going to save him in a car accident so that he won't have a car accident next week. Why? Go through space to come down and save one person? Why not all the children being poisoned by the food that we're creating? See, if you don't look deeper into the truth of truth itself, you live in a lie. The lies are that we're spiritual. I never say I'm spiritual anymore. I used to, but when I realized, I said, what's it mean? Well, I believe in God. Yeah. I mean, I know God exists, and I know I'm responsible to God itself. That's learning what spiritual is an aspect about. Doesn't mean you're spiritual yet. Just means you understand what it could lead to or what it entails. So yeah, I can go into that as well. My time's coming short. I want to say that my trip was incredible. I thank everybody to help me get there. Please, I'll keep you up on the story, which I didn't get into. Tomorrow I'm doing 2 hours on, what's tomorrow? Saturday. Freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio. I'm doing 2 hours at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please tune into that. I'll get into the story much more. I could have brought multiple guests on today, tomorrow, but right now I'm dealing with the most important thing that's happening to everybody I know. And what's sad, there's lies and stories growing within its own culture, meaning the people that I'm with, and attacking each other. Why? Is there something different that we all should be thinking about? Yeah, truth, honesty, respect. And how do you get respect? You work to earn it. You don't lie to somebody's face, which I had happen to me over the past 2 weeks as well. And then people attacking me, which is fine. Truth is always attacked. The same as the light is always attacked. When you put a light on, everything will come to it, whether they die or not, but they're going to try to get to it. Why? The warmth. And that's all they know. So the truth is out there. Are you willing and ready to look for it? Are you willing to grab and hold on to it? Are you ready to do what it's going to direct you to do? Hiding from the world is an excuse for living. Hiding in the world and living life is still hiding. Facing the world, facing who you are, facing the truth, and trying to bring it out to the world is what we are here for. The ones that came back and know it. Hiding from that, hiding from your true mission, well, saving the world, nobody's going to do that. Nobody. No alien, no entity. Shiva, Durga, Kali, Mila Reaper, Manjushri, all these beings, and Quetzalcoatl. What did they do for the planet? How far did we move forward? Not any. Many is associating with killing children and sacrifice and all those words. So, on the ending note, truth is within if you're willing to find it. It's not what you believe it to be, because when you open up to it, it'll change everything you know as reality to what it really is. So I'm glad you listened. Please stay in tune. Tune in tomorrow. Go to freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio. I'm trying to stay with Project Camelot because this is the place to be. It's a growing station. I got more people that listen, more people open. I don't like to be in a closed-minded group because you don't get nowhere. Talking to a rock is only talking to a rock. Sure, the rock listens, but what's it tell you back? Sure, you can hear something, whatever your mind creates and wants you to believe or hear. But the human race is the most spiritual race, and that's why aliens are coming here. But if we don't realize that, we are not that. And that's why aliens can take over us, because we believe that they're better than us. So please, wake up. Tune into life, tune into death, understanding both. Learn why you're here. Learn where you can go and why you should. Well, my time's kind of up. I appreciate everybody for listening. Email me, hawksblood1@aol.com, anytime. I answer all my letters. I try to respond to the questions that I get, no matter what and where they come from. As long as it's pertaining to what I'm talking about. I can only talk about what I know, and that's all I do talk about. I'm not talking about science because it's a bunch of lies, and I don't want to talk about lies. Other people's problems, it's their problems. I got my own, and I can talk about what I'm experiencing during going through all this. So, to everybody, please get involved with life. Face who you are. Learn to deal with it. Accept it. Realize that the thing that you look at in the mirror is not who you really are. Learn to see beyond that. Learn to go deeper within that, understanding what soul is. Experience it. Next time, one time, we'll get into that, how to experience soul, how to get into that space, how to become aware of what you really are, and things like that. I'm not claiming to be anything other than a person that has some truth that most people don't. Why? Because I was willing to walk through the fire to get to it. And I always am ready to do that as well, for myself or for anybody that I consider as a person on the path to find truth. So with that, I think my time's kind of out. I will find out. So tune in. It was a pleasure. This is Project Camelot TV network. I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned. Tell your friends about it, because we will be growing, trying to get it a little more apt open to get more people involved with this as far as being on the shows without technical problems. And we did pretty good today, which I'm really glad. So I'm just trying to see what's happening. I'm still alive, so I don't want to just freak everybody out there. So Hawksblood 1, Hawksblood 11 on Skype. The number to call me on Skype is 818-570-6200. Well, it has been a pleasure, everybody. Hope to hear from you. Email me, text me, however. Stay in touch, because I'm out here to help everybody that wants to be involved with life and growing and understanding. So have a great night, great day, great morning, wherever you are. Peace, love, and happiness, or whatever you want. Have a great day. Now it's not the important thing for the past couple of years for me. So I want to get back into this trip. So I met a lot of nice people, interesting people, and during that time frame, I learned more about what's happening in the UFO world with the word experiences, a word that people like because it takes the word abduction out of the picture and puts a pretty picture in place of it. So when a person says they're an experiencer, what it means is it was a good experience. An experiencer usually doesn't talk about a bad experience, because then they would twist the word and make it an abduction. So these people have a couple things different than what you would call the basic abduction. Most abductions start off with lost time. It could be any reason, anywhere, anytime, any place. But they come back with no awareness of anything happening. So for most people that have lost time, have no clue what happened during that time, or usually aren't even aware of the lost time. By the same token, if it's happening during the night and they're dreaming, they have no clue and they have no way to find out about it. So it's a complicated situation. Most people are not aware if they have lost time unless they're sitting in their car and they're getting ready to go to the store, and suddenly it's the following morning and they're still sitting in the car waiting to go to the store. Or they wake up, or they open their eyes and they see they're somewhere else and they don't even know where that is. And that happens to many abductees. On the word experiences, it's people that are in their room and they kind of look, and there's an alien or a being standing in front of them telling them some good things. And they call that being in that, because I'm trying to figure out a way to help people understand what's really happening at certain levels. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not everybody says I'm the doom and gloom guy, which sounds like it to most people, because I talk about what's happening, and what's happening is not love and light. It's not great spiritual balls of love coming into this world and people becoming compassionate and wars stopping and all those kind of things that would make it a real turn. But for me, I was at this conference, multiple speakers. I listened to some of them, not all of them, but I did get to talk to the speakers one-to-one, and I will be bringing 2 of them on my show in the next week or 2, because they have a really important story which the world needs to hear and understand, that the UFO world is not the most pleasurable place to be. It's not like you get a lot of compassionate people following you. You don't make lots of money doing it. It's not kind of a place where you get a lot of respect. In turn, you get disrespected. You get attacked at every level. People trying to say they don't believe your stuff. People trying to say you're not real, you're not honest, you're making believe, or you're a liar, you're crazy, and all those other words that fit into the picture when you mention the word alien. And all I can say, I can only talk from what I directly experienced, the people around me, the people I work with, and what I got from that. And I don't promote other people's stories because I don't feel it's my place to do that. When I talk about my past lives, it's my past life. Whether people want to accept that or not, that's their choice. When I have an experience, it's what I directly had, not in the dream. I'm not talking about dreams right now at all. I used to do some dream classes and stuff like that, but to me, right now, experience in being with an alien or a being. Not that anything they come back with or say or try to prove is real. They have no evidence. 99.9.9%, there's not one shred of proof of what they're saying. So it's a story based on a vision, whether the vision was real or not. And I'll say this, I'm part Native, and the Native teachings through history, the visions and all those things that manifested have no truth to it. I got to travel across the United States. I dealt with multiple elders and medicine people, listened to the stories of the past. Not one vision was beneficial to the Native people. Even in Tibet, the Dalai Lama was given a vision by one of the people that are visionaries, and he left Tibet, and he was saved. So the Native people were not saved. Their visions brought them to death. I'm not saying death isn't the best way to leave this planet, because you're going to die no matter how you look at it. Just on a time frame, how much time you really want to spend here, and what you think you're going to learn in that time frame. So getting back to the point, we're here and now, and the truth is, what is the truth? People talk about their truth. What is it? And when I ask people, what is your truth, they cannot answer. I tell you mine any given second, but when I ask other people, well, my truth's my truth. And I said, does it help people? Does it help the world? Or is it just helping you? And is it really helping you? So again, that truth is limited to an awareness that's limited to the body. And until you experience outside of that, it all is useless, even though you feel it's so important. So on this trip, I got to talk to a person that deals with angels. It was fun, and because I listened to her lecture, didn't agree with anything, so I met with her after, and she actually gave up 2 hours of her channeling because she works with people, and we talked, and she said, I believe everything you say. So I got her to look at a deeper version of what she's saying and deeper into the truth. I mean, it's easy to say angels are helping us and God's watching over us and all these things, but what is that really? What does it entail? What's it going to bring to the world? What's it really doing for the world? What's it really doing for the human race? Now throw in alien races. Why do you think they are here? To make us understand God? To help us understand life? To understand anything important? How about like what we're going to eat and how we're going to get somewhere in the distance, or the things that Tesla was given, what Einstein's theories brought out, the whole Montauk Project, the Philadelphia experiment, all those things. Are they helping us spiritually? I challenge everybody out there right now, what spiritual means to you. Do you have a clue? Do you know what spiritual means? And what does it mean? Write it down on a piece of paper and look at it and say, this is what spiritual means, and write it down and look at what you think it means. Email me. Please do. Tell me what your truth is about that word. I'd love to hear it. I mean, multiple people are saying they're spiritual, very spiritual. And based on what? What's spiritual mean? Connection to what and who and how? And what does it do? Psychic abilities, all of them, all 32 of them, come from the astral plane. Remote viewing, telepathy, levitation, deja vu, all those words are just limited to the astral body and the physical body. They can't take you into any worlds higher than that. So to me, that's not spiritual. Hawaii, I just got back. I spent the past 2 weeks between California and Arizona. I was 3 days, well, really 4 days at the UFO convention called UFO Con Experiences Conference. And then we drove down to Arizona to be with my friend who has the most incredible story going on, not in a good way, but we'll get into it. I want to say to everybody out there, thank you so much. I put a site up called GoFundMe about my mission, and I got all the money I needed from my plane ticket. Thank you, everybody that did and helped and supported and got me out there. Please email me or text me, whatever. I will keep you up to par what's happening with the story and what's going on, because I feel I need to get back out there. I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but it seems like I left the place and it's now in a lot worse than when I went. So I really feel I have to go back out there. Uh, the person I'm dealing with is getting attacked every which way, and not by government, I would say aliens per se. Well, we'll go into that. I just want to go into a few things, what happened for me on the journey. Starting, I left my house on a Thursday night. I got into California. I was stuck at in the hotel lobby for a whole day waiting for somebody to meet me there and everything. But then started meeting a few people from the conference, UFO Con Experiences Conference. Don't ask me why they put those CON in there, which makes it sound like a con job. Again, the word experiences is a good word for people that want to believe it was a good experience, even though most abductions are not a good experience. It's a program. I do multiple shows on that, and I will keep